Talking about you got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but it's not limited to, my sidekick sitting in Uzbekistan at this moment. What is poppin', Berk? How you
Why
feeling?
you gotta dox me like that, man?
I mean, I you know, look, it looks like you're in Uzbekistan. You sent us this picture earlier. I'm still trying to figure out what you were doing. I don't understand. Like, what's going on?
Did you ride that camel?
Why is there a camel and mountains covered in snow? This doesn't seem to equate to me.
You're everywhere. That's a snow camel.
Oh, right, the snow camel.
You don't know about the snow camels?
They have two humps.
Indigenous to the Uzbek mountains, yes.
Yes.
Yes. The Uzbek mountains.
You'll be close to Khabib. Tell him I said hi.
I feel like we need like newspaper dates from you, man. Like, are you okay?
What's going on?
Yeah. What are you talking? First of all, I got to tell you, nobody can set up a remote podcast set like I am right now. I mean, look at this. Look at this shot. I look great.
Nice
backdrop,
shot.
perfect.
Look good, cuz.
Looks great. Yep. Look good, cuz. You look good. The lighting's good.
Mm-hmm. What, you
the
stop
camera's good.
You stopped in the village? You stopped in a village and they happen to have Wi-Fi or something? You just had your whole setup with you?
Starlink.
You know, we brought Starlink. We don't fuck around. Elon got us taken care of, man.
Okay.
You left the sleeves back in the States?
You know, I felt like because it was a more cropped version of me than you get when I'm on set.
Oh, no nipple gate. Yeah, no nipple gate.
Yeah, no nipple gate. I could go with the gym attire here. Get away with it.
This is Uzbek mountain hiking attire.
In the snowy caps.
Yeah, you and your camel.
Well, we're out here getting it popping today. What's popping? How was everybody's weekend in here?
It was good to be back.
What'd you get into?
Oh, what did I get into? Watched a lot of football. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right. You know. Did you get any barbecue?
Barbecue. No barbecue this weekend.
It's kind of fucked up. You let us on in the beginning of this podcast with like these barbecue Fridays, and you were gonna do this and do that, and like
you want me to bring back meat sweats?
People's birthdays go by and you don't even bring them barbecue. Like, what's going on?
Your birthday's not until a couple months.
It's no. Somebody's birthday went by and fucking recently. I don't know who it was.
Nobody on this podcast.
It might have been Nikki or somebody, but somebody.
The next birthday I believe we have is yours.
No.
What do you want?
No way.
Yeah. What do you want? Bring back meat sweats.
I'm the only fall baby in here?
Yeah. Well, technically Guapo is fall by
December.
No, actually, fall's right on the.
What do you like? December 5th?
20th.
20th, right on the day of.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what fall
is. That the intersection of fall and winter?
Yeah.
That's
the winter solstice.
Wild.
He lands on the winter solstice.
That's wild that Christmas is the cutoff for that.
Why do you guys know these things? That's so strange.
What, your birthday?
No, the winter solstice. Like, clearly you were paying attention in class. I do not know about winter solstice.
This is the random value that the tortoise brings to the podcast.
Do you not know
terrible
when the
political takes?
Terrible.
The winter solstice.
I have beautiful, awesome, very accurate political takes.
Based.
While we're on the subject of food, by the way, I could go for some fucking barbecue. I'm gonna come back 15 pounds lighter for sure.
All you're eating is.
I'm eating the same thing I eat when I'm home. The difference is that I'm getting like a tiny man's portion of whatever this food is. I asked for 8 egg whites today. They gave me a dish that couldn't hold more than a single egg in it. And they said, "Here you go, sir."
There's not a crumble in sight.
That's fine by me. I haven't been on the desserts so much, but
that's good.
I realized that my portion size at home is very American.
Right. I was gonna say, like, when you get outside of America, they eat like normal people should eat, not like
gluttonous pigs like
I
us
mean,
here.
quite honestly, you've always wanted to be on Afraid or whatever the fuck that stupid show is called.
Naked and Afraid.
And you see that camel right behind you, so why don't you just, you know?
Well, he's not alone. He's with the camel. Alone means you're stone alone.
So there's plenty of protein in that camel.
You can't eat
So
him.
here's the funny thing. I'm staying at a One and Only, which is a very high-end hotel that I got at way too good of a cost.
That's what it's called, the One and Only?
No.
The One and Only, yeah. And it's like they have a focus on like fitness and wellness here. So there's like a protein smoothie bar, all this stuff. The menu is like really clean, has like, you know, really great food options. And what I notice is that when it comes to like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all of the portion sizes are relatively small, right? So it's a lot of portion control and, you know, not a lot of decadence in the food.
Calorie restriction.
And that makes total sense to me. That's, you know, if you're cutting, anybody who's gone through a cut, like that's pretty normal. The difficulty is like getting enough protein whenever you are also restricting your calories, of course. But the funny part to me is they have a smoothie bar right outside the gym that you can go to and get like protein shakes, right? Now, the irony is when I'm home, I probably drink like 2 protein shakes a day. And then I eat like, you know, my eggs and rice and, you know, maybe chicken or some other source of protein. And I end up consuming like 180 to 200 grams of protein in a day. Here, it's the exact opposite. Like I'm getting like a quarter of the eggs that I would usually make for myself. The protein, like the chicken or whatever else I have is like a fraction of the size that I would have at home. But when I order the protein shake, it's like 1,000 fucking calories. It's like nut butter, whole milk, protein. You know what I mean? It's like,
so it's probably delicious.
It's incredible, Guapo. Are you kidding me? I'm actually refraining from having any.
No fruit.
It sounds like a bad idea. Sounds like you should go grab
none for
yourself
me.
one.
You could have fruit if you so choose, but none for me. No.
Lando, how about you? How was your weekend?
It was good until I bet against you and Conrad.
Didn't we just sit on the couch all weekend?
I played live cash once.
How'd that go?
I went to the win.
Let's talk about that.
I won money.
Nice.
Let's talk about it.
What stakes were we playing with?
That's
5,
not
10,
what
10.
we're talking about.
Nope.
What?
What are we talking about?
He was at the win for 15 minutes, playing 5-10 no limit 3K
I
cap.
played for like 5 hours.
Let me finish my sentence.
Yeah, hold on.
He was at the win for 15 minutes, playing 5-10 no limit 3K cap before
5, 10,
I got a
10.
text message that said, "Okay, man, I'm running HRC sims for 3-bet cold calls in position. It's a thing, 300 blinds. I'm telling you, it's a
Pretty
thing.
sick.
It's pretty sick, bro."
Berkey and I just started giving high fives in the chat. We're like, this is what we always do. This is fun here.
No, I don't need to see no sim, bro. If it's painted,
You probably should.
we're in there.
If it looks good, we gonna play it.
Probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the pretty range.
yeah.
It's probably a bad idea.
What do you mean? You got the
don't know about the pretty
Fantastic
range?
Four in the pretty range, like all that.
That's
You don't
right.
get the cold call that.
All that good. What?
Nope.
You don't get the cold call that.
No, you definitely don't get the cold call.
We in the streets.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
we got some other people. in this-
Wait. Before we get to that, I want to know: is he making a career change? Did the Go Studio finally retire you from tournaments?
No, I don't think it retired me from tournaments. I think it made me realize how little studying matters to a degree.
Okay. Now we're
To a
getting
degree.
somewhere.
To a degree.
When we left the
He's
win,
slowly,
Yeah, you're going to be in the streets more now, right?
slowly coming to the dark side.
I think that I will play cash more.
when we left the win, we had a very serious conversation about schedules and what people should do.
Big
in their
scheduling guy
lives.
now.
And we came to the conclusion that Thursday through Saturday are cash days, Sunday is for tournaments, and then you just play the big series. Throughout the
this.
week, you know? Get
I
it
love
poppin'.
this transition. I'm so happy to see a graduate. I mean, before you know it, the kid's just gonna be fucking inventing games at the table. He's going to be running a private 10-20-40 game on the weekends.
I don't want to be doing all that.
You're very gregarious. You're built for this. You're a social butterfly.
If you want to play the game, you're going to build the game, okay?
Right. You're not doing it.
You ain't going to have no fucking joy.
You're one of two options.
It's going to be 8 years before you actually get invited to a game.
It's true.
Yeah, I have to go to Uzbek.
Your best hope is for me to start a game, and then you can just have a seat. That's your best hope.
He's absolutely right, by the way. This is the proper business plan. Hiring Conrad as the game runner. Now it's going to cost you.
It's not.
You're going to have to fade. You're going to have to fade his losses in the game because you have to put him in.
It's true.
But hey, this is how Robo got rich.
I was going to say, isn't this how Robo got rich?
Yeah. This is what JRB's been doing for 15 years. He's like the MVP game runner who just stays in action by doing all the dirty work.
Listen, like 8 years ago, I was like, man, I just want to be JRB. Just run the games. You're always in the mix, getting it popping.
Here we are.
Having a grand old time.
You're CRB.
It's time to cook.
Let
the man cook.
Let's get him cooking then.
Ready or not, here I come. Jumped out with my soul leaking, going hard till I'm so eating. No change, no speaking, no death with slow breathing. Damn, homie, you the man, homie. They can't do it, but you can, homie. They can't do it, but you.
Got a few who's cooking. And we're gonna.
Sorry, Connie. You almost nailed it. Almost.
Chefs?
No, I said we have a few who's cooking.
Yeah, it just sounds off.
Well, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
We have
a few people cooking.
A few chefs.
We have a few who's cooking.
A few line cooks. A few chefs.
Listen, the ones that come out, we just keep going with them. Jesus Christ.
Making his egg whites and rice.
Dumbasses. All right, anyway, we got a couple chefs
almost fucked it
online, as you may say.
Online chefs.
It looked like Lex won the 5K bounty builder for 129K, but he didn't just win it. He won it wearing an Ali G costume.
Ali G in the house.
Do you guys know who Ali G is?
Yes.
I haven't seen the movie, but I know this guy.
It wasn't a movie.
No, he's like.
No, it was a show.
It was a show, right?
It was a show on HBO.
And it was like one of the most popular shows out there, I feel like.
It was one of his running bits, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you should have an asset for this.
Lex made a tweet about saying how it would be something to win in this costume, right? And then he won.
And then he
did it. Yeah.
Was that a 2-day tournament? You know?
It's a spitting image, by the way.
Lex G.
It was really good.
He pulled it off incredibly well. I mean, I didn't watch the stream. I don't know if he pulled off the accent or not, but the actual costume itself, a little premature. Halloween's a few weeks away. Man, he just absolutely nailed it.
More importantly, he got the job done. He got the job done. He wins the 5K bounty builder for $129,000.
That's a spinning image.
Wow, that is really good.
On and popping.
I mean, I feel like they're both just Lex.
Where the fuck did he get this patent leather jumpsuit from?
He committed to the bit, and he passed.
I love it. Well, still in the online streets, we have another chef, Tonka. He won 2 W scoops.
Wow.
W coops.
Somebody help him.
He scooped a couple coops.
They used to say he couldn't win tournaments, or was it just live?
Live.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can always win tournaments. Just
very
live.
good on live.
Do you know how much this was for, Landon?
There was one of them for 73K and the other one for 21K.
Nice.
It was a 1K PKO and a horse.
Nice, sweet. A horse?
Horsing around.
Oh, he's out there.
He's out there horsing around.
Wow.
Man.
He's
I believe Tonka also. I think he also won his first live event, lifetime ever this year. If I'm not mistaken, we covered it earlier this year.
Yeah, I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
He really backed up the truck on them, didn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who else is another who's cooking?
We got K Sweat.
Who's cooking?
What is so funny, Berk?
That was a good one, man.
Thank you.
I can't believe they're just gonna breeze right by it.
I know, it was good. I
know.
started laughing. And I was like, and then Landon tried to force me off.
No, I didn't try to force you off. I just realized that was a banger.
Thank you. It was so good, it went right over your head.
It did. And then I realized what was happening. I'm not cooking.
Moving on, we're moving to the live scene. We got my boy K Swed. He actually chopped the Almighty, the $500 Almighty at the Borg, and then he gets third in the main. For like 300, I think it was 300K. I think he chopped it for 100K and got 200 for third in the main. That's
really
my man's
strong.
out there in the streets. He's had a pretty good year.
That's a lot of money.
Love K Swed.
Keith Sweat, isn't he?
No, K Swed.
Carlene Swed.
Well, I'm not sure if it's Carlin or Carlin.
I'm just gonna call him.
I call him K Swed.
I'm gonna call him Keith Sweat from here on out.
You know that was one of my first concerts ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yo, you were horny.
I can't tell you who I went with. That.
You don't gotta go Keith Sweat. You ain't trying to get your dick wet.
Last but not least on Who's Cooking, the one that cooked the band I'm looking at, Jay Bex.
He's just staring at me. I was like, what the hell,
Bex
man?
comes in. He wins a Poker
Should be
Masters
staring at
event.
me. I'm the one who got fucking cooked, not Landon.
Yeah, that's true.
I got cooked tiny.
Yesterday, he comes in third in the 15K, and he exited in really, really, really disgusting way.
When
I
will
would
it
say
end?
rude. It was rude.
It was fucking rude. Like, let's just take a look
play
at
the
it.
clip.
Yeah.
You guys want sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covers Becker. Would be in a dominant spot here if he can find the call. Good enough, makes the call, and here we go. Going to love to see the 10-6 suited for Haxton. Becker about a 70-30 favorite with more than 4.7 million in the middle.
Yeah, and this is a spot where Haxton, if called, is going to think he has two live ones at least very often. Unfortunately, just absolutely dominated here. Does have spades, of course.
Close, though, to worst case scenario for Haxton, who does flop a flush draw.
Feels like it's coming.
Haxton just nods.
I agree.
That might be like a reverse jinx.
Turn, though, 7 of clubs, a clean turn for Becker. Just looking to dodge a spade or a 10. River card is the 9 of spades.
And the Dark Prince sends his ass
He knew
home.
it. He's just like, I feel like it's coming. Haxton just looked at him and just shook his head like, yep.
Sorry, kid.
It is. Sorry, ain't your time, kid. Not on this one.
Sorry, kid. Your time might be coming, but it ain't today.
He did win one, though. He won one earlier.
That's definitely one of those veteran moments where you kind of just like look at the up and comer and you go, someday you're gonna hold in this spot, but today ain't that day.
No. Still, third place finish, pretty good.
He's in a 6 series.
He's up there on the leaderboard now, isn't he?
Right.
Pretty close for the purple jacket. I almost said gold jacket. Gold jacket, green jacket. Who gives a shit?
It's actually
Pick a color and make it a jacket.
Lamanna's on point. I gotta get out of the office more often.
I know,
Jim
right?
Colopy's up there.
Somebody's
He's
got to make
crushing.
up for your absence here, Burke.
Why? He never says anything fucking funny.
This leaderboard's so fascinating to me. I feel like I just have like a very different memory of what the Poker Masters was compared to what it's become. But I actually do remember looking back, I think it was a year or two ago, whoever won the jacket either only won one event or only cashed one of, or it was something
won it
weird
last
where,
year.
like, yeah, and he I think he only had like 2 cashes and a win.
But he got a second because
something
it was
like
worth double points. He needed, I think he won one and then got second in the big one.
The
which
big
gave
one
him-
was worth double
Yeah.
points?
Yeah.
Is that different this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that's still true.
No, it's still the same.
Oh, still true.
the
So
same.
it's basically, when is the 25K?
Today.
Today. So it's basically going to come down to today.
It all comes down to this,
Yeah.
Brian.
Well, I mean, like, you know,
For the
obviously.
green jacket, gold jacket.
Yeah.
For the
I
green-
mean, it would be cool to see a few of these people at the top of the leaderboard make the final table together, because then it would be, you know, very, very interesting all the way down to the stretch.
Well, I mean, it was kind of interesting for yesterday because Jim and Becker were 1 and 2, and they were 3-handed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it was really interesting just watching that play out because it's like, damn, I don't want to give this guy chips.
Colby actually hasn't even won an event, so he's cash 4, is currently leading the points total, and will need to fade anyone else in the top 5, I guess, final tabling the 25K.
Yeah.
But this, I believe, would be the first time somebody has the opportunity to win the leaderboard without actually winning an event.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Then get 4 straight FTs and obviously had good results in all of them.
Yeah, you kind of deserve it at that point.
Solid all the way around for the whole series, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that, because I don't imagine that the point system's always been like that, considering that we talked about what happened last year. So I guess they've changed some things.
Yeah, I think the fact that the buy-ins are so close together, right? There's not like one huge buy-in and then like a bunch of 10Ks. There's like 10Ks or there's a 5K, then just only up to 25Ks.
You know what? Maybe it was more points because last year I think was a 50K for the last event.
Yeah.
So it was double points out of 50K, and if it was like buy-in for point worse based, I don't know, value.
Or this one, there's a bunch of 10Ks and 15Ks, and then
that would make a lot of sense. All right. Well, who's not cooking? Hats off to our boy Jungle Man. Jungle's out here making bets on who's going to look better between him and Oppenheimer in, what was it?
10 years.
10 years. And
now,
he's got the receipts.
Are we coming up on the 10-year anniversary? Is that what's going on?
I actually don't. Burke, do you know that?
I don't get the 10-year reference.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
That wasn't what I read. I didn't read that in the tweet. It was 10 straight men and 10 straight women and 10 gay men.
Yes, but I thought it was in 10 years.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. But I thought they were just gonna find random. So basically they put $100,000 bet on, they would pick 10 random straight women, 10 random gay men, and they would vote on who they think is a better looking person, either Jungleman or Oppenheimer. and I said Oppenheimer, I think. Oppenheimer. And
that's a comment I said earlier.
Jungleman saying that he's backing out of the bet. Is that what the accusation is here?
It said nothing actually got booked.
Okay, so yeah, basically Jungleman's accusing Opie of having not settled on the bet or like welching on the bet in some sort of capacity, and then he posts receipts. To be clear, I don't know why Conrad thought that had something to do with 10 years, but there's nothing about 10 years.
Landon also said 10 years, so I'm not crazy.
I'm pretty sure that...
I don't know. There's nothing about 10 years. They're 10 years apart in age, maybe a little bit more. But basically, like, this is very common, and it's really gambling malpractice, in my opinion, especially whenever it goes public like this.
Hold on, can you explain what is really common? This actual bet?
No, like stupid bets.
Let me finish.
Oh, okay.
Let me finish.
Let him cook.
It's like gambling malpractice, especially when you go public, like Jungle did in this particular instance, where just because a bet was proposed and the other side was interested does not mean a bet was agreed upon.
Oh, I got you.
There's a negotiation portion, right? And you can see in the text messages that Opie's like trying to negotiate this, where he wants a fair sample of different age brackets. He wants a fair sample of random gay men and random women. And, he's just trying to arbitrate, or I guess negotiate the best ways to have this come to be. Clearly, it's going to be a very difficult bet to ever get underway, and both parties are going to have to work pretty hard to get it done. It doesn't look like either side put very much effort into it. So I don't think Jungle's very good faith here in coming forward and saying, like, Opie's watching on the bet, or he's not doing anything to make it happen. I think Jungle's negotiating from the standpoint of he's so sure he's going to win this bet, he doesn't care about the stipulations. And just because he doesn't care doesn't mean that he doesn't have an obligation to basically do the legwork to get the bet underway. So this is really problematic because I think let me rephrase. I'm overstating it. It's not really problematic. It's just a problem that I see often happening where somebody will confidently propose a bet. The other side will be interested in the bet and say something like, you got it, or you know what I mean? Like basically not using words like I'm interested, because that's not how bets come to be. It's two people having an ego battle. It's,
right.
I want to bet this, and somebody else saying, okay, you got it.
And this is the ultimate ego battle. They're betting on who thinks who looks better.
Right.
Right.
It's so good.
Where it becomes bad faith is when the person who threw the bet out there, or the idea of the bet out there to begin with, then tries to hold the other person's feet to the fire on the exact stipulations that were just being loosely thrown around. That's clearly not how $100,000 bets work. You need to come up with stipulations.
Can't be all willy-nilly.
Right. As somebody who negotiated a lot of fucking terms with the heads-up match with Airball, I can assure you it gets fucking messy before you ultimately land on something that both sides agree upon. So Jungle is definitely not cooking here. And Seaver can attest to that. And he came out and said that he witnessed the negotiation taking place and can assure everybody that anyone who's sharp would be taking Opie's side of this bet.
Is this where we weigh in and say who we think is better looking?
I think we're disqualified.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
we're too invested.
We're not part of the panel.
Yeah.
Hold on.
All right.
I saw somebody was qualified in the comments to respond. I can't remember who it was. And he just said neither.
No, you're not allowed to do that. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
You got to pick an answer. You got to pick someone. It's like a choiceless choice, you know?
Do you think this will...
I was going to say yes.
Do we think this will ever...
McKinnon,
Do we think this will ever go down? Do you think they'll get the terms down and actually go through with the bet?
I think if they paid a third party to go out and curate
and find the people,
yeah. I think if they paid a third party to go curate the 20
Should
people,
we see if Phil's available?
Which Phil?
Galfon.
Get Galfon back involved.
Right. This is the real Galfon challenge.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, we got another one.
I don't think this bet will ever be settled, personally.
No, yeah,
probably not. This seems like banter at the table, and who cares? But whatever. We got another one who's not cooking.
Yeah.
That's Hustler Casino, because their YouTube has been taken down, or what is it?
Suspended. Temporarily suspended.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a week that they are in suspension.
Yeah.
That seems to be the rumor.
Yeah. But
for now.
But at the same time, Feldman's out here offering $1 to $3K for someone, get in touch with somebody at YouTube.
Yeah.
You got to get something done here. So if anybody knows anybody at YouTube, go collect those dollars. But do you know why they've been suspended?
I actually have no idea, and I can't even really venture a guess because I don't know what about Hustler would be unique in the streaming space compared to competitors. Mm-hmm. To my knowledge, there have been no strikes against Lodge or Go or Stars or anybody else who's streaming live content. I suppose that there's a chance something about their commentary was flagged. I saw somebody speculating about that in the comments, but I think that that's really unlikely too. Honestly, I truly don't know. And what I also find to be paradoxical in this instance.
What did you just say?
You have to define that for Conrad.
Paradoxical?
Correct. Yeah. You know what a paradox is?
Okay.
What does that mean? I'm sorry, I need a definition.
Two things that don't conflate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to know what conflate means? All right, there we go. We got it.
Okay. What I find to be
odd,
a bit interesting or odd in this instance.
Could have just used odd, man.
Yeah. What I find interesting in this situation is that rather than go dark for a week, they are switching to Twitch and streaming from that platform. Now, I suppose that could be because there's some sort of obligation that they have to their sponsors, where going dark for a week would just be a problem.
Yeah.
But you're dark on your channel anyway, and that's where all the traffic is. So no matter what, they suffer because of this temporary suspension, and there's no way to correct that suffering. Like,
let me ask you a question. Do you think that they're just testing platforms at this point, where it's like something like, shit, all right, well, this happened, let's go test Twitch or Rumble or something like that and see if we can what happens?
In case it's a bigger problem than just like a week or something.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's an opportunity for them to test their audience on other platforms, but I think it's been pretty well established by now that YouTube is the streaming platform, especially for gaming, or particularly for gaming within the sense of gambling. No major platforms that I know of have much of an existence on Twitch. I mean, of course, they're all there. I know Stars has a 24/7 channel, I think, that runs on Twitch and does relatively okay. That actually could be maybe what's led to this temporary suspension. I know that Hustler just recently launched a 24/7 channel. I don't know what on earth that would have to do with being potentially suspended. But that's the one thing that's changed in their business plan, I suppose. I don't know. It's all very interesting to me. I would think that they would be happy to take a week off and try to get this straightened out. But I think your point's kind of valid too, where you have to have a backup plan when you're a stream house. If something like YouTube totally gets deplatformed or demonetized. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know really what to make of it. I'm sure that they're scrambling over there. Obviously, like, they have way more inside information than we do, but the response from YouTube isn't very good.
Yeah, I was about to say,
unless you have an insider.
I was about to say he probably has zero information. He sounded pretty. The tweet sounds like a little frantic-y.
I feel like this is
bothered. Like I don't know anything.
Yeah, I feel like this is an ongoing thing with YouTube a lot. Like they'll suspend people for. They seem like very, I don't know if finicky is the word, but they're just like if you do something, if you do something like slightly wrong, they will suspend you or they'll demonetize you and they'll give you like zero reason for why they did it.
Yeah, which
is it's just like, please tell me what I did so I don't do it again in the future. Right?
Yeah, I'd be quite interested if they test out platforms like X, because X has a streaming platform and they pay. Like, so why wouldn't you go outside? Because also the thing about X to me is it's easy, very easy accessible. It's not, you don't have to go click into other things. You don't have to go type in Hustler Casino on YouTube.
Right.
You're already everybody's on X. I promise. Everybody checks their Twitter X 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So it's like, you could just see it right there. Click it. TCH has been doing this a lot, and they got me. They got me to watch hours of poker because it was just on X, and I just clicked it.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely worth looking into.
They have a video player already set up for your phone. Like it's like super compatible. Like you just click on it and just
you click it and it just pops up. And if you want to turn your phone sideways, it goes full screen. It's cool. Actually,
the thing about X though that I would be like, I think X actually lends itself more to a show like ours.
Yeah.
That is kind of digestible in short bursts. I don't think people are scrolling X to watch long form content.
Right. I think they kind of want to doom scroll, right? Like you kind of want to see what's going on. And if you're watching a video on X, it kind of takes away that.
I kind of
the multitasking, you know what I mean?
I agree with you, but once you if you just see it there and you click it, it's like, I
can capture some eyes for sure. Yeah, you'll definitely capture some eyes. But IG Live does this too, where you'll be scrolling reels and an IG Live will just pop up and you won't realize it right away. And the next thing you know, the reel's just not ending. And it's not
it's just like, nope, this is just a live stream.
Oh no, fuck, I'm trapped in a live. You just roll right past it. But the other thing with X2 that I haven't quite figured out yet is how much does it harm your current platform, right? Like, if we were to run this show simultaneous on X and YouTube, do you think that hurts or helps our analytics? Like, of course, now we have dual analytics. We have like, this is how many people watched on X and this is how many people watched on YouTube. But if our YouTube numbers go down from like 10,000 views per show to like 3,000, and our X viewership is like another few thousand or whatever, is that better or worse than having them all corralled on one single platform?
Right. To be honest with you, I think that our viewers are, the people that watch this podcast are set in what they do. I think we have like the same,
like you're not going to lose a lot of people from YouTube going to like, X. You're just going to pick up people that are already on X.
Exactly. Like I think that like you might lose like 500 or 400, like maybe at the absolute max to like switching over to X.
I would think that in terms of like turning profit and making something profitable, you would want everything just coming to one place.
Onto one, because it just looks like this. Look how big this one platform is.
But like, if you think about this in like, let's expand out. Think about McCaffrey, like Pat. They're on every platform.
What's his name?
McCaffrey, McAfee, whatever the fuck his name is.
I was like, the guy on the IR for Niners.
Listen, MCAFs, all right.
That Irish guy, you know.
Is he at the Spear?
He's at the Spear.
Fuck you all. All right, back to what I was saying. They post on every platform. Like
I think when you're that big.
No. They don't though. They're not live on X.
No, not X, but they post on multiple, don't they? I'm pretty sure it's like they're on ESPN, they're on YouTube, they're on.
So they have YouTube Live, which is totally unedited, unfiltered, no commercials. Mm-hmm. And then they simulcast on ESPN, which then the second hour goes into ESPN2. But that's with commercial breaks, as well as, you know, the edited down not edited down, but like the censored version.
Okay.
Right. So, but it's only those two platforms. There's nowhere else. They're not simulcasting like on Tubi and Twitch and everything else, right? Like
Spotify
everything is very
does
much,
it too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, everything is very much centrally located. And your point with our audience is probably true, but that doesn't answer my question that I originally posed, which is it better to divide or potentially divide your audience amongst multiple platforms when you're doing a live, or would you prefer to corral everybody into one singular space? I really don't know.
I think my answer to that was the former, to divide and conquer. I think that's my answer to that.
I think when you're small, you're probably right.
It's like you have to get yourself out. I think you have to get yourself out as much as possible. Like you have to get the eyes on you as much as possible, I think, and doing that across different platforms and like especially like X. Like it's just a social media platform where people just see things and like that. I feel like that can, I don't know.
Wasn't this kind of a thing with Facebook Lives though also, and they just like went by the wayside? People just weren't really interested. The retention wasn't there.
I'm not sure about the Facebook stuff.
Yeah.
I think everybody stopped using Facebook at a certain point in time, and like
only our parents use Facebook now.
It's still like one of the highest ROIs when it comes to social media marketing.
Oh no, yeah, I
there's a lot of boomers out there, Berkey, and they all have money.
I was going to say, the boomers use it. The boomers use that bad boy every day. It's great.
IG's a part of it, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Facebook's like the local news of social media.
Yeah.
Right? Like you go to X for like stuff that's happening all over the world. You go to Facebook to see what's happening in your hometown.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because you just have all your family and friends there.
That's a great way of putting it, Brian.
I'm seeing people my age get married and shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like you were in 6th grade to me.
Right?
You're still in 6th grade.
Hustler Casino Live adjacent. Did you guys see this wager that Airball was going to turn $20K into $1 million?
No.
Yeah,
I did see it.
Yeah, he had a great idea. He was going to put 20,000 on apps, have a bunch of his friends dump to him, and then claim victory.
Well, I was going to say the bet seemed good until exactly what you just brought up. As soon as I heard apps, I was like, man, this is too easy to just angle.
It's going to be pretty hard to spin this up. Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Oh, wait, he said app games?
Yeah, he was going to do it on app games and live, apparently.
What the fuck is he going to play that will allow him to turn 20K into $1 million in any reasonable amount of time?
Baccarat? Like, duh.
It's very hard to profit $1 million in poker today.
Well, he'd be
in today's
50xing his bankroll in 12 months, which is like...
Yeah.
Sounds like he would have if he bet on Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Right. But like obviously he's not going to use good bankroll management, so that's kind of whatever.
That's why I was saying it seemed like a great bet until I heard about the apps and whatever.
You know the thing is,
that's kind of
it can be 1000x. It's just up to him.
Yeah, it could have.
You know, it could just 1000x.
Time for 4 poker.
Well, my bigger point is that like it's hard to profit $1 million in poker, no matter how much access you have. And Airball has more access than just about anybody. But it's especially hard to profit $1 million in poker when you're fucking Airball.
Hey man,
like you're not a winning player.
You did it in 45 days.
You had $1 million. Yeah. Maybe I cherry picked a loser who was willing to dust it all off. Like
maybe he found his airball.
That spot.
Well, if he's legit
found himself,
if he's legit going to start with $20,000, he'd have to. And this is being aggressive. I would assume start like at that 5-10-10 game you were playing, Landon, right? And that's only like what 10 buy-ins.
He will not do that.
You can't.
Hell no. That's 20. He has 10K going on the table at a 25-50 game.
He's playing. Yeah, if he's playing anything public at the win, it would just be like the 10-20-20 game.
If this were a public challenge, this seems like a great bet.
Yes, if it was public and like logged.
Right. I mean, Guapo's right. Like the bet is dead before it starts, because if he has to start at a stake level where you can't earn that much in the near term, call it 5-10 or 10-20, then how on earth do you ever get to the, like, you have to turn 20 into 100
fast
before you can even in some quick amount of time, so that you don't spend years on this fucking wager. Right? Like,
look how long it took Doug to get to 10K.
Right. And he started with what, $100?
Yeah, it took a very long time.
What did he do?
When Doug ran up a 100 roll to
bankroll
10K.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know how many hands he played when it was all said and done, but if you're doing this live, like, again, it doesn't matter how much access you have, because you're so limited by the amount of your roll that you can risk.
Not to be sorry. Also, just like playing other stuff as well as having both things going on. He's not just going to stop playing Hustler or stop playing other big games or whatever, right? He has other games to play that now he's going to put on pause to do this stupid challenge.
Right.
Yeah. My question is,
to be fair, if he's making wagers, like, it could be worth his time if he has the possibility
if he gets enough.
Doing this.
Yeah, enough
all
action.
right. The real question around here is, what odds would you give him? Like,
oh my God,
what's the odds we would say here?
If he were playing live, if it were up to me,
like,
and again,
all tracked in a visual.
If he were just going to play live, like
100 to 1,
10 to 1 seems like maybe
10
that's
to
even
1.
Maybe that's even crazy.
No, Berkey's right. Berkey,
100 to 1.
Yeah, Berkey's. I think
100
Berkey's
to 1 is stealing.
He has to do it in a year, in 1 year.
In 1 year, 12 months. I think 100 to 1 is stealing. And
There's no way he does it 1% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
It's probably like,
and it's not even an airball thing, right? Like, I don't know many people who could do it more than 1% of the time. Like, you're talking about too small of amount of money that you're trying to, 50x.
And it's not like he gets multiple tries, right? If once he loses the 20,
that's
he
the
loses.
Bet. Like, you go broke and you
can't
lose.
just
not
like
only that, the
okay.
amount of hours that would have to be put into this bet would be, I mean, he'd have to be playing 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to investment banking?
Like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like, I play mostly 500 or 100, 100, 100, 200. And if I don't get access to bigger games, I can't make $1 million in a year. So I have to play 200, 400. I have to be like really deep whenever the best games come about. Like, when a Peter sits down in our 100, 200 game, I need to have 300,000 or 400,000 accessible to me, because that might be one of the biggest EV spots that I get all year long. I need all of those stars to align in order to have the opportunity to make $1 million in a year. You can't have any of those stars align if you're always on a fixed bankroll. You have less than $1 million bankroll the entire time.
Right.
It might actually be all but impossible outside of just like some lucky parlay of events.
Super Sun Run, yeah.
Yeah, where you just like sit with 20 and turn it into 60, and then sit with 40 and turn it into 100, and then sit with 80 and turn it into 250. Like
risk of ruin
just this sequence of right. Yeah, it's just like you're bound to go broke before hitting the million. It's almost certain.
Essentially, Airball would be taking the Conrad approach to Weekend Warrior.
But I'm gonna win.
Yeah, but he had a certified lock of the week of the century.
Yeah, you guys are just dumb.
Right.
This is not this spin from 28K to a million. It's not the lock of the century.
Here's the flip side of this. I think when he puts something like this out there, there is a precedent, like something that happened before that said, "Hey, I could turn 20 into 100 real quick."
Precedence.
Yeah, precedence. Like something happened where it's like. Maybe he has a heads up. Somebody that wants to play him heads up, and he's like trying to get more action on it. He can probably get sick odds. He's like, just could turn 20 into a workable roll within a month. And like, I think he probably already has it set almost somehow.
Maybe.
In a way. Like, because like, I don't know. You're asking for, I don't know.
He's just talking out his ass.
I mean, I don't think Airball is stupid. Like,
no. I don't think there's any precedent that could exist that allows you to do any of those things.
All right, so listen, if Airball is like, all right, I have this, let's say a sheik that just ready to lose millions of dollars, right? And he just wants to play heads up.
$20,000.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's an Uzbek sheik, so he's going to win.
You only have $20,000. You can't win. Why can't you get this through your thick fucking skull? Gambler's Ruin will tell you.
I fucking understand that.
Conrad doesn't believe
but if they're playing small.
Because you don't believe in it. You always just put yourself in a situation to be bankroll online in front of you, all in, against somebody who's a losing player, but it doesn't matter because they have
equity.
X amount more of your bankroll. They just get to stay in action long enough for you to go broke.
Okay. Now, my point was that there's just something set up that he just knows he's getting to 100 real quick, and he's looking, or has a very good chance to get to 100 real quick, and he might be just looking for long odds on the interwebs. And it's just like, it's actually kind of smart.
I mean, if anybody agrees and like doesn't put two and two together, where like there is just a chance that he can dump to himself, then he's stealing. You know, if he's just like, oh, I'm just going to play on private games and it's not going to be tracked, and you don't get to know what the hands are.
Yeah.
And then
or he has somebody to play heads up that'll dump to him live, whatever. You know, it could be anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can like game the system.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
Make the improbable look probable.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I would say the impossible. It's not the improbable. Like even this notion that Conrad's saying, like if there's a way for him to fast track 20 to 100, that's not a thing without like cheating. Like I don't care if you get somebody. Like there's just too much risk at play.
Yes, I understand that, but like if you're getting long odds, what does it matter? If you went on the interwebs and said, "Hey, I'll give you 150 to 1," and like he's like, whatever, has a chance, it doesn't matter. Like who cares?
But you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. That's what I'm saying. Like if you sit down with $20,000 and you play 100, 200 against somebody who is a 30 big blind per 100 loser heads up, you still lose like 46% of the time.
If he's getting 150 to 1, what is that? How does that equal out?
Because that's only your first 20,000 turn. Like
right, you got to keep.
You have to rinse and repeat that over and over and over and over again while you're upping the stakes.
Yeah, your 4% edge is going to catch up to you.
I get this, but he'd be risking 30 to win. He'd be risking, like, he can literally risk 50 to win $2 million.
Brother, if you're 0%, it doesn't matter the odds you get.
All right. I mean,
anyone with generational wealth would just like instantly bet him if it was proven to be like
on the up and up.
Yeah, like a fair.
I agree. I'm the one that's saying that the odds is probably at true odds is closer to like 250 to 1.
I think it might be literally as close to 0 as possible.
Anybody ever gives you 1,000 to 1?
Too high.
John Cougar Mellencamp wins the Oscar. I'm gonna be a very rich man.
Yeah. Actually, I know how Airball can do it. If he goes to above the felt meetup games, it's really easy to just keep multiplying your money there. You have to sit down. Berkey has to be at your table.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, that's his plan. His plan is to find you.
Scumbag.
I don't even. Yo, Berkey woke up the next morning And he said, "Fuck Guapo."
Yeah.
Guapo's such a scumbag. He is limping kings, setting the trap for the good meetup host who's splashing around.
It's kind of a genius.
Just getting it in with, oh yeah, it's real genius. Like that's the intention of the
He had a
meetup
surefire way to 50x his money.
I mean, if you couldn't make him for Kings Plus once he limped, then that's on you, man.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I over-limped. There was already like 1 or 2 people before.
Okay. That's a lie. He didn't say that.
Berkey's in the blinds, and I'm like, oh, this is going to work out perfect.
Okay, all right. That's a little different. What the fuck's wrong with you, Conrad?
He did the classic repop, you know?
Got his ass.
Yeah.
I didn't have to repop anything. I just jammed.
Yeah, he just jammed all in. I didn't have to repop anything.
Yeah, see, he's a genius. He knew you were going to repop all in.
Did he just look at you and start laughing at the moment?
He just asked for money. I'll just give him the $300. Like, what are we doing here?
Maybe that's Airball's strategy. He's just going to like ask his rich friends for money.
Like, what about this is making you think like, oh, I'm really good at poker. I got him. I knew Berkey would jam if I overlimped.
Guapo played the
no
man.
Shit, it's a fucking meetup game, man. You know, we're just there trying to throw a party.
Are you under the impression that I'm flexing and
it.
saying that I'm like really good at poker because I got you to give me money?
Hell yeah, you are.
You got his ass.
What's going on right now?
You can't eat that.
No, I'm not of that impression. I'm of the impression that that's what was going through your head. Otherwise, why else would you do it?
Because I absolutely did that because I thought you would just put money in the middle.
He got your ass. What are you so salty about? Guapo played the man.
Got my ass. Do you guys not understand what meetup games are?
Yeah, like, he met with you in the parking lot.
No, Landon does not understand what a meetup game is. Landon wouldn't put on the third straddle.
Are you an idiot? This guy's stone talking out of his mind. I put on the 160 8 times.
Eventually.
Not eventually.
I did not invite any of you to the meetup game to fucking try to. Why do you keep talking over me? Jesus Christ.
Because it's Berkey and Friends. It's so good.
I didn't invite any of you to try to cherry pick spots where I'm going to put money in too loosely, and therefore you just get to print because you're at top of range. Like, that's not how fucking meetup games go.
Hey, man, is Guapo your friend or not?
There's a certain decorum, you know?
You know the best part about it?
And you gamble. Nothing about Guapo is gambling. He was being a fucking OMC, just knitting it up, trying to make money.
The best part about it is if he just opened 20. If he just opened 20, Berkey jams.
Nah, he's scared. He knows Guapo's got a good hand.
Who knows? Who cares? But he's like literally that shit rag that's like, oh man, there's a meetup game at the Venetian today. I better go grind there. Let me get on the list.
This is what was going through my mind, huh? I'm just driving over to the Venetian thinking, oh man, I'm gonna pull off so many angles here. I'm gonna wait for really good hands and just let Berkey put it all in the middle. I'm never gonna bluff, not once, never. Just wait for really, really good hands and just pray that someone gets it in.
Brother.
I mean, no offense, Guapo, but that sounds exactly like what you did.
That's exactly what you did.
It's called the free money glitch. What do you mean?
Brother, I saw free money, brother.
If you saw $20 on the ground, you gonna pick it up?
Yeah, I'm diving on it.
That's what I'm saying. He's diving on 300.
My mama didn't raise no fool.
Basically, Guapo uninvited himself from meetup games.
How? I don't understand what I did wrong. I was splashy. I was tipping the dealers. I played hands.
So just like a live poker player.
He was splashy.
I was splashy.
He went against his morals.
Ask Mama Joe how many times I put in some big bluffs.
Play those big hands.
We're reducing this whole session to one hand. That's not fair for Guapo.
No, it seems very fair, Brian. I'm an angle shooting, cherry picking heathen who just shows up to meetup games and wants to scum everyone.
They call him Scumbag Guapo.
The hand before that, he 4-bet me with ace king for half of his stack and then just jammed dark.
Because all the money was already in the middle. I don't understand. Am I supposed to apologize for having bad hands? Like, what is going on here? I open ace king, Matt 3-bets. I put in a 4-bet. Like, what about this is not standard?
The arbiter of good gambling, Matthew Berkey versus Guapo.
Jamin's another one. Jamin's a fucking nit too. He's not invited for the meetup.
I scammed his ass good though. I got him.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it. He was playing so good. Like
he was playing good.
go to a meetup game and play 1-3 and try to play fucking good. Like, what are we doing here?
Do you know what his overall profit was? Do you know his P&L?
$2.
$2. It was $1. He won $1. Sick hourly.
Well, he won more than that because we got fronted buy-ins.
Yeah, that Guapo was ready to steal. Guapo was ready like Birdman.
Not steal, Landon. Cherry pick.
Yeah, I would never call him a thief. That's way worse. But this is
a cherry picker.
This is more this is more gutless.
He's waiting on the other side of the court.
The only way I can get into these games now is if I just go donate money because I have so much to give.
This is even worse than what you thought it was.
Next meetup game is the Guapo meetup game at the Venetian.
Beware, if I'm in a pot, I got it.
Any bet over, even a limp.
All the nits from the city are going to show up, and they're just going to be playing perfect 500 zoom ranges.
Oh, it sounds like
Jamin will be there. Jamin will be there. Guapo and Jamin's meetup game.
It's going to be the toughest 1-3 game in town.
Straddles are disincentivized.
To put a button on this airball bet, what I was trying to say 100 times before I got cut off was what I think would be a much more interesting bet would be, and not for airball, but somebody to turn 20K into $1 million through like piece buying and staking. Because now time isn't really all that important. You're not that vested, right? Like you're just saying yes or no to buying pieces, and you could track it all along the way.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, I think somebody like who does the ICM sheet every year for Derek Walters. He would be a cool person to like run an experiment like that, or anybody who has like a CFP, because there's like some incentive behind it for them for their business and stuff like that. I think like that's actually a really cool prop bet.
It would take a while though.
Yeah, I mean you could put a time frame on it if you were doing an actual prop bet with odds, maybe a year, because now risk of ruin isn't nearly as prevalent because you can jump through the stakes pretty easily, right?
Go on.
Well, you can just start with like proper bankroll management, putting people in like 1K MTTs and shit like that because you're not playing them. You're not wasting the time.
How much of you can't buy all of that action? Like you're gonna go broke.
No. Yeah, no, but that's the whole point, right? Like you can find huge winners in bigger games and you could buy a fraction of them now. The point is like you are just purchasing win rate every time that you invest without risking any time.
It's just so hard to spin that, I think. Like 20K, like 20K to $1 million in a year by piece buying.
Dude, you're up like 150 in fucking swaps in the year.
No, but it's different. It's different because like I'm not losing money like in that same way. I'm not losing a 20K fixed roll.
But you also haven't lost a swap.
I've lost a swap.
The difference is in piece buying, you can put in volume.
Yeah. You can buy 10 pieces in the main event.
Yeah, when it's just you playing, your volume is restricted to how much you actually play, and it's also restricted to your specific win rate. But you can diversify whenever you're piece buying, and you can put in a ton of volume. You can buy pieces of cash, you can buy pieces of tournaments, and it can all be running simultaneously.
If you were to do something like that or offer something like that, how many main events would you include? Like, I don't think you can include it can't be like 3 years, like 3 main events, right? Like that'd just be too much.
It wouldn't be too much.
Well, the wager's 1 year, so.
Well, no, we weren't putting a year on it.
How many people do people know that just make $1 billion off of backing? It's so hard to make money off of piece buying.
Right.
Like it's not. You don't just get to spin up free money. It's not. You're not Guapo with kings at the Venetian.
No.
Okay.
But my point is, you're allowing a lot of opportunity. 3 years of main events. Like the main event
you
is
lesser odds if you did 3 years. That's all.
You get less odds in 3 years or 10 years.
The main event is still a 10K buy-in. It's not like you have.
That's what I'm saying. Conrad's willing to fire the entire roll on the fucking main, and someone FTs that he's gonna win.
We got 120K. We're gonna have 12 horses.
How are you gonna get to 120K though? Right? Like that's hard to off of 20. Like that's not easy.
No, come on, man. You can put somebody in a Venetian event. I mean, look, it's not easy, but it can happen. It can certainly happen, right? Like it's going to happen probably more often than if you were just playing it yourself, because you can diversify so much more.
If someone gave you 100 to 1 to spend 20K into $1 million in a year through piece buying, do you think those are good odds for the investor or the person that's shorting that?
100 to 1?
100 to 1.
Is there a bankroll?
Yes, 20K.
Okay.
It's the same bet, but now you can piece buy.
100 to 1.
I think it's very, very, very difficult, man.
It is.
I think 1%.
I would bet against.
I think 1% is a good price.
Yeah.
I think it's a good price.
You think?
You think it's
fair? It's a good price, and I think that's a fair bet, and I think that like Airball might be 1,000 to 1, maybe worse.
Like Airball playing is 1,000 to 1, maybe worse.
Yeah, because you said Airball doing it is next to zero, so 1%.
The big difference is that in piece buying, you get to scale, and you get to do so at volume without actually having to take 100% of the risk, right? So you can get access to Airball's 1K, 2K all whale game by having 5% of somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And now you don't need 2 million to play or to have a piece of this action. Right. You could get in there with 200,000. That's the big difference. Airball will never be able to play that during this challenge because he'll never be properly rolled. He'll
It's
never
funny because
have
I
more
wonder
than $1 million.
Does he have to play all of it? Like, could he play in that game and just be like, oh, 5% of it is on this on the bet, right?
Like fractionalize himself with the roll.
It would be kind of like doing the same thing
ahead of time. Yeah, if that's worked out ahead of time, then it's not really a bankroll challenge, right? It's just
I guess
it's just him continually taking more and more of him. So he starts with 1% of himself in a game.
Right, that defeats the whole purpose of the bankroll challenge, right? Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, does it? Because like if you have 20K and you say like I'm not rolled to play this really big game.
No, I know, but you're trying to say like I'm going to spin this up.
Most of the time, people call their challenges bankroll challenges playing poker. They're probably broke.
Yeah, I mean the whole spirit of the bankroll challenge is I'm going to start at very low stakes and then work my way up to bigger
moving
stakes.
up against competition, right?
I'm going to start with a tiny piece and
scale accordingly, right? Like,
right.
If I just said arbitrarily tomorrow, okay, I'm only going to have 20K to work with moving forward, and I'm going to continue to play Bobby's Room every day for the next year. Do you think I could turn this 20K into $1 million piece buying of myself?
Right.
Yeah. Like, well, it would still be hard in a year's time.
Yeah,
well, it'd be very hard in a year's time because it's very hard to make $1 million, period. And now I don't even have 100% of that. So you have to make multiple million.
Yeah. But if you had access to a $1,000, $2,000 game, with whales, then it's a lot easier.
There it is. If I have the ability to scale and stake as I grow these pieces, yeah. But yeah, he's dead. He's drawing dead.
He is dead, and winter is coming, kids. Winter is coming. The WPT has just announced their championship dates. It's going to be from December 14th to the 21st. Full schedule's coming out next week. We don't have that yet, but this is kind of interesting because this does not, whatever you call that, overlap with the GG WSOP 25K for day ones, because I believe the GG starts on the December 12th.
The 50 million guaranteed.
If I'm looking at the right one, December 6th through the 19th?
Yeah, I think the main event starts on the 12th here.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like day ones are going to overlap. So if you're able
play both.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So we're going to find out the full schedule in the coming week. But if there's 3 day ones, it's very likely that a lot of people can fly from Bahamas back to Vegas to play the last day one. So
it's the same as it was last year, right?
I think, if they add another day one, I think it would be an extra day. Because I remember Deeb flying in and already had.
What was there last year? 3 day ones or 4?
Oh man. Oh wait, no. Last year, you're right. They added a 4th one, didn't they?
I don't think
it was either. I think
it was 3.
I think you're correct that last year there were 3.
Okay.
I think it was.
Yeah,
but you're saying they may add a fourth this year.
Well, I would think that since the schedule's been out, that they will set it up so the way the dates look, it looks like you can play day ones in Bahamas, and if you brick, you can come out here and play a day one, or at least one
day
flight.
One here.
Yeah,
right.
Which is pretty sick. What do we think WPT is going to come? This is going to be our last time talking about it before we get a guarantee. What do we think that guarantee comes out to be?
A little speculation here.
A little speculation. Brian, talk to me. They went with $40 million last year.
$40 million last year? Yep. I don't think they can go backwards. So I think it's $40 million at the minimum.
Okay, so you remember they did overlay a little bit.
I know they did, but
okay.
I think they think that they're going to grow this year. So maybe they keep it at $40 million, thinking that they can hit it this time.
All right, let's go around the horn. What you got, Landon?
It might be a little smaller, but make it a freeze out per flight.
A freeze out per flight?
Like change the event.
You got to change the structure because you don't want to go backwards. Basically.
Yeah, it's not really going backwards.
It's when you have a new event, kind of.
Correct.
All right, Guapo, what are you thinking?
I say under 40.
Under 40.
Yeah.
Guapo's cheap.
You're not allowed to limp kings in that tournament.
Wasn't it a freeze out per flight last year?
No, it was not. One
re-entry?
I think it was one per day.
One re-entry per flight.
Burke, what you thinking?
Okay, so it's confirmed it's 3 starting days. Same as last year. 14th, 15th, 16th. Which definitely does overlap the 25K some.
Well, it would. So the 25K is, I don't know how many day ones it is, but it starts on the 12th, I believe. So I'm gonna go take a look on how many day ones there is. But if it starts on the 12th, they should be good.
Right. Well, there will be some overlap nonetheless, especially with a travel day necessary. But it does look like bare minimum, if you brick the Bahamas, you'd be able to make day 1C of WPT. That said, I think even if they go unlimited reentry, again, I kind of said this before. I think WSOP just kind of won this one, man. I don't know. I don't know how else you do this if you're WPT other than you take your L. But they missed the $40 million guarantee last year. WSOP one-ups them this year with a $50 million guarantee and overlaps the dates enough where it's going to pull people away. 20 million.
Whoa! I think. What's going on here?
Wow.
No,
cut it in half.
No, absolutely not. You take that back right now.
Well, they only got the 30. They got the 38.5 million. No, less. It was a 3.5 million overlay last year.
It was 2.5 million.
2.5, I think. Yeah.
2.5.
37.5.
Okay, so somewhere around 37 million they got in the prize pool last year. I mean, you're just going to lose a lot of clientele here to WSOP. Like, there's no getting around it. That guarantee's too big. What they're offering down there is like too good, and they have a lot of.
It also is 2.5 times the buy-in.
Right. Oh, by the way, I'm saying I think that they'll guarantee it at 20 million. Not that that's what the prize pool is going to be.
No, right. No, I know.
But I think they're better served to guarantee it at 20 million and have it hit 28 like it did the first year, than they are to make it 35 million and you miss again.
Yeah, it just seems like going backwards. It just like in business, in marketing, it people hate to do that. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't do it. Though? I know, Burke, I agree with you. Maybe that's what they should do. But a lot of times they just don't like to look like they're taking a step back.
Is that what they would do?
Which is what the optics would be, I think, if they did only guarantee $20 million.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it out there. I do not think they will take a step back. I don't think they're going to waver at all.
$100 million.
I think they stay at $40 million at the bare minimum, and
that's what I think too.
I think they go to war.
Thank God Conrad doesn't have a marketing budget, man.
I think this is going to war unarmed.
You might be right.
Underarmed.
Not unarmed, but like I feel like it's you show up to
sticks and stones versus laser beams.
Gunfight with a knife situation.
Hold on,
you show up to the front lines of the Civil War with a bayonet and a rifle, and you're up against like a full army and a tank.
Yeah, they really are
up against
tanks in the Civil War.
Hold on, guys. They really are up against a full army and a tank, because the last flight of day one is December 15th. That's Sunday.
Oh.
They have 4 flights of the 25K.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm gonna.
So people will have the option to choose just.
They can play. They can play Monday. A couple first of the couple flights, and if they don't get through, they can come out here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if they're firing fully.
Yeah, and also I said like it's it's a 10K versus a 25K. That's still a pretty big difference, right? Like there's a lot of people that'll choose to play a 10K, or that can afford to play a 10K, or can afford to sell to a 10K, as opposed to being able to try to get the funds for a 25K or multiple flights of a 25K.
That is true. It's definitely going to draw from different player pools, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Like I would never play the Bahamas one, but there's a chance I play the Win one, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Not necessarily. I do agree with you that it's different clientele, and I think that what they do have going for them at WPT is that there will probably be a lot of one and dones at the Bahamas. You just hope that they choose to play 1A instead of 1D if they're only going to fire one bullet. And unfortunately, the way the human psychology works and everything else, like if you're a one bullet type of person, a lot of people will just choose the last day. Yeah, especially the recreationals. But I do agree with you that the price difference matters. And there will be some people who just are priced out, don't want to play a 25K in spite of the fact of it being a large guarantee. I disagree with the ability to sell. That'll be the softest 25K of the year by 1,000,000%.
That is true. Yeah, that's a good point.
And with the prize pool being what it is, it'll be softer than 99% of the 10Ks that run as well, outside of like the main and probably just the WPT Championship, which I would wager is probably going to be maybe not tougher than the 25K, but it's going to be a pretty fair concentration of pros.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea when the WPT is going to announce the guarantee? Next week?
Yeah, when the full schedule comes out, I suppose. So
we'll look forward to that next week.
Yeah, we should be getting some answers to that. But GG also did another thing. They are doing exactly what we thought they would start doing, started integrating flights online. Looks like on the September 29th, they're running a 25K where you're getting to the money by the end of the day.
Oh, so you're like fast tracked.
You get a little fast track.
So you play a lot more levels, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. So then you just come in, whatever. How does that work exactly?
You just come in with the amount of chips that you win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever chips, and they're guaranteeing 30. I think it is, Berkey.
Yeah. So they're advancing at least 30 people straight past the bubble to the super main event cash. I would imagine that this means that the live event will also play down to the money day one.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Because I don't know how.
I mean, it makes sense and it doesn't make sense.
Maybe not.
Doesn't have to, right? Maybe they can just day 3 is in the money and then.
Yeah, so it's like you'd play play 1 day online, but that's equivalent of playing 2 or 3 days live. Yeah. Okay.
I think you're probably right. This is probably. My memory doesn't serve me perfectly from last year, but I think what they did last year was the online qualifiers advanced directly to day 2.
The 1,500 milli maker, right? I think it was. They did this with.
It was also the main event, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. And I think the online qualifiers just advanced directly to day 2, but I don't believe they were in the money yet last year. And we were just talking about how it made a lot of some specific day 2s a lot tougher. But it also handicaps the online players in that instance, the way they ran it last year, because they're going to have fewer chips going into day 2, having to have overcome a tougher field. It's a give and a take, basically. But with online qualifiers now advancing directly to the money, this is probably a more fair solution for all parties involved. The live players get to play all the way through the bubble with just other live players, which I think is really important. That's what you sign up for in the live experience. The online players are rewarded for playing in a tougher field that they cash in. Basically they get to save 2 days of their life, or at least a full day of their life. And now they're not traveling for, just the package. Yeah. They're getting the package plus the return of at least mid cashing. That's a big travel now. I mean, you're talking about min cashing a 25K, it's probably going to be somewhere around 50,000 to cash, maybe only 1.5x, maybe like 40K, 35K, something like that, but probably close to 50K to min cash, plus all the flights, hotels. You might be looking at like just making the money on the online flight being worth somewhere in the neighborhood of like 75 to 100K in EV. It might even be more than that, actually.
So you're saying if they cash, they give you the package, they give you the flight and the hotel? Is that what you're saying?
I assume. I don't know that for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. I'm not positive of that part, but I imagine that they're not going to leave people high and dry.
Right.
If they cash, you
now
have to
it's on you to get there
from fucking Norway.
Yeah, right.
Nah, yeah, I think they have to, just because of the simple fact of getting accommodations and, like, you know, it might be booked.
Yeah, it's so hard, right? Yeah, especially like the Bahamas, like it's gonna be booked. So maybe they just set some rooms aside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely be.
They are doing this soon, though. It's end of September, so
11 days.
Oh, so they'll know, so they can make the.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Do we know if they're running?
Yeah.
Do we know if they're running any other flights or just this one?
Right now, this is the only one announced, but I would suppose that they'll do
add a couple
more of this, assuming that there's some success to it.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't doubt we see it for the other tournaments that are going on there too, like the 1500s and up, stuff like that.
This would be interesting for them to do with like the high rollers, because they're such small fields to begin with. It's a good way to get some otherwise uninterested online crushers involved. Yeah, you know, maybe some of the cash guys.
Sorry, I think it works on both ends of the spectrum. Like if they were running like a 300 or a 500 and just did flights for the next couple months, and this whatever did like a 500 whatever there, that would be huge. They get a lot of people from that. Like a lot of people that normally wouldn't be going, but now they have a chance, and now they have a chance to run it up for real. Like whatever. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. I think GG has GGWSOP has a lot of future ahead of them in the mixing the two. And I think
and look, WPT Global does as well. They're just not as big of a player yet. You know, they don't have as much market share when it comes to rest of world operations, and obviously they have no access to the United States. But that landscape will continue to evolve. WPT is not going to sit on their heels and just like let GG run over the market. Like they're going to continue to try to innovate and roll out more products. So,
and that's why it's 40 million this year.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that you might be right. They might just decide to take a bath. They may just decide to take a bath this year, knowing that they'll be in a better position next year.
I think that
will they be in a better position next year?
I think
that a lot can change in the online landscape for sure.
Yeah, I think that WPT knows that players love them, and like they
still need to make money.
Yes, but at the same time,
so they have like a loyal consumer base.
Very, very loyal consumer base.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like I don't know. I don't think they're going away from 40 million, and I just can't put the exact words on it. But
do they have the risk of ruin calculator for how much they can afford to overlay?
Do you know how many zeros are in that bank account?
That airball bet was like the most illuminating moment of my personal friendship with Conrad, where I realized that even though he keeps saying he gets it, he just absolutely doesn't understand Gambler's Ruin. What
are you talking about? I'm basically saying he's cheating.
He understands the ruin.
I'm basically saying he's fucking cheating.
He understands it. He just refuses to acknowledge it.
He understands the gambler part, and he understands the ruin part. When you put them together, it means a whole different thing. It means he knows how to gamble.
He just continually kept making an argument of like, oh, well, if you can get some long odds, you know, this is pretty nice, huh? It's like this is the same dude who's just like betting numbers on the roulette wheel, forgetting that there's a 0-0, I guess.
Ooh, that sounds horrible. Why would anybody ever do that?
Want to give him 30 to 1?
Why would anybody ever do that? There's people out there betting 0-0s, though. This shit's wild.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Okay.
That's making the WPT 100 million guarantee. That's a 0-0.
A 0-0?
That's a triple.
I don't know. I don't think WPT goes away from the 40 million. I think they put their foot down. I think they trust their vision, and I think that they trust their loyal customer base to show up. That's what I think is going to happen. See. And now, let's get into the Weekend Warrior. It's time. It's time. Let's go! All right, we are on and popping. And as I told you, your boy's on the top of the list. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Speaking of Gambler's Ruin.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
What do you mean? That was a lock, 100%.
Lando, what'd you do this week?
Tyreek didn't score.
Well,
yeah, it was unlucky. It was unlucky for many reasons. Tua's concussion was very sad, and that kind of cut the game short at the end of halfway through the third. We took anytime touchdown for Tyreek Hill.
Did not come
in. I found a new way to gamble on the Finns that doesn't involve choosing them to win.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. Well, you're 0-2.
I'm 0-2
in the first 2 weeks. So talk to us. What's your game plan moving forward? How are you going to turn this around?
Make better picks.
Bet on the Dolphins, but not choose them to win.
All right, guys. Make sure you get your punishments ready for Landon. What's popping, Brian? What you got for us? What'd you do this week? Oh, no.
The birds were turds.
Oh, no. The birds were turds, the man said.
Was not the
God.
word.
I mean,
you had it.
Kirko Chains, baby.
Here's what I learned from Monday night. I learned that either the Eagles are just not as good as everyone thought they might be, or the Steelers are really fucking good.
What? What'd you say?
Because obviously, if maybe Atlanta's just really, really good. They went into Philadelphia and beat their asses, just like the Steelers did to them the week before.
I actually think you're right.
That's exactly what
I think. Atlanta is actually not really good,
Atlanta's
but I think
good, and the Steelers are better because they beat them. So the Steelers are good. That's what I learned from this weekend.
I think TJ Watt is just the best player
He's
that's ever
so
touched the football
freaking
field.
Good.
I hate
All
to say
my
it.
bets are now going to revolve around the Steelers. I'm right there with you, Burke. I mean, we might have some overlap, but it is what it is. There's only enough room for so many people.
Oh, speaking about dumbass parlays. Talk about dumbass parlays. What'd you do this week, Burke?
I made a mistake. I should know not to bet any sort of over when it comes to the Steelers.
Higher.
Right.
Imagine
Higher.
that.
Higher.
Imagine
Of course they were a lock to win the game. Of course, 3 points was a joke. I was happy to sell a half a point here.
See, what you should have did
was... What I should have done was take
the under of Broncos.
We talked just under the game.
Under the game, but you could have just took the under of the Broncos total. Lower of the Broncos total.
That's true. That is true. They were never scoring 19
No, for sure.
Right, as time goes by, you guys will learn the ways, but
the Steelers really can't score, but they can stop people from scoring.
They can score. The thing is
Brian's eyes got huge when you said that they could score.
Well, because they can.
They haven't shown the ability to score yet.
They
in the
can
last
score
3 years,
but it's TJ Watt.
They have the best field goal kicker in the league. The defense
three at a time, Burke. 3 at a time.
Yeah, like the Commanders last week.
Their defense averages 5.5 points a week. They just happen to get shut out these first 2 weeks, which is
right.
Really
They'll
brutal,
have 3 touchdowns next week.
Real unlucky.
Of course, we were counting on it.
Imagine having your team revolve around defensive touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sharp, you're sharp. You bet what you know. And I know this goddamn Steel Curtain defense. Yeah. I haven't seen a defense this strong at every level. They improved. They were top 5 defense last year. They improved at every level. By improved, I mean they re-signed Cam at the defensive line level. And they're healthy.
That's the Tomlin way.
And then,
knock on wood.
At the linebacker level, they filled that middle linebacker gap that they had last year. They had a rotation of 6 guys come through. No, don't worry. We'll just go out and get Patrick fucking Queen. And we're going to nail that down. And then we're going to go draft one of the fastest linebackers in all of college. And we're going to nail that one down. And then at the secondary level, they go out and they make a trade, Deontay Johnson for Dante Johnston. And he's
wow,
just
what a change.
Shutdown.
It's the same guy.
He's just a shutdown. And wait, it gets better. Now, the Panthers are looking to shop Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Listen, bring him back. I gotta tell you one thing.
It's all part of the plan.
If they fucking get DJ back,
yes, for nothing.
They are the dumbest. They are the absolute worst franchise ever. Stone hands DJ can't catch a ball. I'm sorry. You might as well call him like Diddy DJ because he got lube all over his head. You know what I mean? My man, he can't catch the ball, B. And shit's just always on the ground. You know, we call him Diddy DJ around here. Man can't catch the ball. Nothing but lube.
I'm not going to stand for this. I'm not going to stand for this.
Shout out to my boy Guapo.
Swappo.
My man's been sitting there with the plus 118. Oh, what?
Hold on. Before you give him his flowers, because they're well-deserved, can we shame him a little bit for the confidence he had in this bet and how little of his roll he risked? You went all in on the Chargers.
Time out. You thought I was going to let him live? Just give me 1 second, all right? I'm never going to let him live.
Hold on. Guapo understands gambler's ruin.
Guapo also understands that we're not going to just give him flowers and then not have like something awful to say about him after.
I'm so shocked. You need to have everybody involved. Like Conrad is the big gamble, big ruin. Guapo is the tiny gamble, no ruin.
All right, listen, guys. Listen.
That's right. That's right.
Let's look back. He spent 3 weeks yelling Shevchenko
more than 3 weeks
plus 118 on this podcast.
He was yapping.
You know, he said actually at minus 110. So he went all the way to the other side. He bet more.
You bet more against me.
And it wasn't enough. Guap.
Yep.
That was one of the most dominating fights I've ever seen in my life. One of the most absolute dominating fights in my life.
Yeah. So
you just all in. You didn't even put the fake money all in, so I know you didn't put the real money all in.
Putting 20% of your entire bankroll on one thing is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Anyways, that's what I did for the Weekend Warrior. I've been talking about this pick for maybe 6 or 7 weeks. I told Connie about it. I told Brian about it.
Been a while.
And that was at minus 110. I actually put a little bit of money on myself, like actual dinero. And it was one of the best cherry picking weekends of my entire life. It started off on Friday before going to the meetup game saying, if I win X amount of money, fuck it, I'm going to get tickets, I'm going to go watch the fight.
Okay.
I ended up making a very nice amount of money at the meetup game.
How much was it from Berkey?
And instead, like $600 or $700 from Berk.
Okay, nice.
So thank you, Matt.
You see, you're just funding his Sphere experience. You should be thankful.
How much did you make total that day?
No, he didn't go.
How much did I
make total that day?
Playing poker?
Yeah.
I did good. I feel weird talking about money. Look, the point is...
What do you mean he didn't go?
The point is that I had a really good weekend, and instead of going to the Sphere, I put that money on Shevchenko, and it worked out really well.
Nice.
Also, real quick, a PSA. I got a couple messages of people who put some money on the same bet, and I would have felt awful if that bet didn't go through. So please be super responsible. I'm definitely not a sharp.
Be gamble aware.
It's actually very possible that I'm just losing money.
To be fair,
I'm just
really
happy.
If they took your bet and fucking bet it, they were gonna bet something else anyway. So don't worry about it. They didn't say, "Hey, Guapo's the fucking got the lock." They were gonna bet something.
But if someone trailed you,
that's a lock. I mean, if I say it's a fucking lock, it's a fucking lock. But I'll tell you who's not. Oh, this week he did it. I'm sorry. I take it back. My boy Hunt. He's out there in England. He's at Manchester City to beat Brentford. I think it was Brentford. But they won. He got the 200 to win $35. He got his money.
Get your bag, King.
You know, King got his bag.
Get your bag.
And now we go over to the Sharps. The Sharps. Sir Hanks. He took the Ravens last week. 460 to win 400. Minus 9.5, minus 115.
Be gamble aware.
Yeah, they didn't get the job done. They didn't even win. They didn't even walk out of the stadium with the win.
You took Ravens with the points?
Yep, and the Raiders kicked their ass.
Yeah, he should have taken the Raiders, no points.
Yes, the Raiders plus money.
Yeah, that's real sharp.
That's plus 500. They would have been living life.
Plus 500?
Yeah. 9.5 points. It's like 450 to 500, something like that.
Lock of the century of the week.
Lock of the century of the week. I'll tell you who has those. My boy Jeff Platt.
Mm-hmm.
The man's just right.
Platt's cooking.
Platt is cooking. He took the Bengals 228 to win 200, getting 6 points, minus 114, and
against all odds.
They almost won outright.
Jeff Platt versus the Chiefs and the refs.
I know. Yeah, he beat the Chiefs.
He beat the refs. He knew he wasn't going to win, so he knew he was going to cover.
Right.
Sharp guy. Mm-hmm. Wherever this guy's getting his picks from, we got to ban him.
Wow. It's true. True. He gets them from podcasts, he said. He just listens to random pods.
Not this one.
Stuff like this.
I mean, if you listen to random pods, you take the Chargers and be all in like you.
Quite honestly, the lock of the century, of the month, of the week. I put it in our Survivor chat. I put it in every chat there was. The second I saw the line on Monday.
They're all muted.
And I said, Chargers all in. We should use all our picks on them, everything. The Panthers have a guy that has hands smaller than a midget, and he can't throw the ball. So it's like, you know, what are you going to do? You can't win games like that, you know?
You can't score points like that.
Can't score points like that. So they caught the L.
Man, the Panthers cannot score. I want to bet against them every week.
Well, they have the Red Rifles coming in.
Yeah, Red Rifles
coming in. He's 46 now, but there is...
They couldn't take it. They couldn't take Caleb Williams anymore.
It's not Caleb. It's Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, it's the experiment it's almost over.
The experiment.
You know, but it lives on in New York. The experiment will live on in New York. He's going to be either a Jet or a Giant.
Is he getting traded?
Eventually.
Oh.
Once you have like a rookie quarterback and you start him right off the gate and then you bench him, like that's a lot of juju comes out of that. So you just got to kind of send him somewhere else and hope he gets a fresh
That would be
start.
the most Jets or Giants thing ever to do is to sign Bryce Young.
Well, if you think about it, look at it from the Giants' perspective.
Yeah.
From the Giants' perspective, they have Daniel Jones.
Dimes.
Right now, listen, he's not working out exactly right now.
He's
right?
not.
But he could sit behind. Bryce could sit behind him for the rest of this year. If Bryce could
learn from him.
No, just learn in general. Obviously, Bryce is not like whatever. He went to Alabama. He had a good college career.
Bama quarterback.
He hasn't got it this year. But regardless, if we play him next year, we lose 18 games, we get Arch Manning.
There you
Why
go.
wouldn't we do that?
Now that's it. Now that is a.
What are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Give us Arch.
That is the play.
But anyway, we were all in on the Chargers this week. We bet 780 to win. I believe it was 750.
You bet 820 or something like that.
No.
He only had 780. He didn't have enough.
Yeah, I messed up there. It was 780.
He didn't have enough.
He bet more than he had.
I had bet more than I had. I forgot I bet 220 the week before. But wrapping up the week, Jeff Platt, top of the leaderboard. He has 1,650 points.
Oh.
Dollars. Trailing right behind him is your boy Connie. Obviously, with 1630.
Guapo's up there.
Guapo's up there at 1197, and I don't even care about the rest of them because they're not winning.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? Look at them. Look at these dusty
I got
fives.
Berkey by $10. That makes me happy.
It's not like there's only 20 more weeks of the season.
No, there's like 24.
24 weeks of the season.
But you guys are dust. So
Conrad will be all in again this week too.
You're going to be left with dust after a couple weeks.
Actually, I'm not even betting this week.
You have to bet at least 50.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not betting. Did you see the game? Honestly, did you see the games this week? They do not. I'm scared. I'm scared for our Survivor. I don't know what we're gonna do, but
Steelers all in.
We're not doing well.
Chargers at home.
We're not doing well. We're down to our final 3 out of 10. It hasn't gone well. We're
exactly dollar wise.
We're up, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually made it $1,000. I think about.
We're rich.
The value of our picks left is equal to 11,000 out of the 10,000 we paid. So.
Steelers at home versus the Chargers.
There's like 28 or 29% of the field left, so we're just barely above par.
That's so insane.
We should have followed Sean Perry, dude.
It's not good. You'd like to be doing a lot better than that at this moment.
No,
we should have been on the Chargers.
Yeah, we should listen to Conrad. It's actually Conrad that blinded us. Right? Like he was so gun-ho about them is that we could never put it all on the line there.
Right.
It's just like,
well, it's not my problem. You guys are all dumb. Like, once you guys get past your own issues, we'll be okay.
If we just listen to you every single week, Conrad,
we would be out. By the way,
if we listen to Conrad every single week, we would all be broke.
No, you wouldn't.
We would be ruined.
If I could only give you one game, I'd give you a winner every week.
Oh,
it's coming.
Stop.
It's coming. Winner every week.
Stop.
When does the Telegram group begin?
Winner every week's coming.
All right.
And I won't pick it like Arkansas plus 220.
Winners with Conrad every week.
Every week. It's coming. You guys are going to see for the next 23.
You can start your Telegram group. You can start your Telegram
Here comes
group.
Najee Hire.
It'll be great.
Najee Lover.
All right. We'll have all of our picks for you on Friday. we'll be coming to you hot with our Weekend Warrior picks. Hopefully we'll be able to get Brent and Platt on to give theirs at some point. Hunt's going to be joining us tomorrow for a Strat Chat episode. Nikki is going to come in and help us co-host on Friday. Hopefully I'm going to be able to continue to call in from the middle of Sri Lanka or wherever the fuck I am. But, Wi-Fi gets a little bit spotty here and there. So I'm going to do my best to continue to call in as much as I can. Next week, we're going to move back to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine. And I think that'll be the last week of it. I'm not sure. I come back to the first. I don't know when the fuck that is. But anyway, Conrad, you did a fantastic job hosting today. Guapo, as always, wonderful on the assets and the switching of the cameras. You look like a man who's recently
I have a
rich.
question. I have a question. Did you literally just talk through that whole I'm eating the dogs, I'm eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat?
I don't think you can hear it.
Did you not hear that?
I can't hear anything.
Oh, Guapo played that for at least 30 seconds.
He was playing it as the outro song.
So good.
I take back everything I said about Guapo. Come on, man, you gotta know.
Damn it, almost had a compliment.
What are you dealing with you? Almost had a compliment.
Straight to jail right away.
I watched the last episode. He played it as the outro or whatever, but you couldn't hear it, so it was okay. And I was talking really loudly because I could hear it in studio.
I like the outro.
Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow at noon. Matt Hunt will be coming in for Strat Chat. We'll be live Friday with Nikki Limo. And at some point, you guys are going to hear from me again. So thank you guys as always. Conrad, thank you for hosting. We'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Later, sidekick.
Peace.